About my heart goes out to the folks in California. We got a lot of folks out there.
Yeah.
No, I work in tech, so I've got like a lot of friends and family and colleagues out there.
Right.
I mean, California is the largest economy in the United States. And so there's going to be implications aside from the human implications. There are going to be business implications that are like moving forward for a very long time. Like I know we've got to get it under control and get people out of it and get people safe, but I don't think that we've seen anything quite like this on our American soil in a very long time.
Right. I mean, maybe ever. I know this isn't the first time we've had fire season, but it feels like in California, fire season is 24/7. It's a year-round event. And between that, the hurricane that started in the Gulf of what is it? The Gulf of Mexico. I mean, we're going to call it the Gulf of Mexico forever. I don't care what they try to do in Congress. That started in the Gulf of Mexico and then made its way up into North Carolina, into land or communities that had recently had articles written about them about how they were environmental havens, right? And so the ability to keep yourself safe or to ensconce yourself somewhere where you're not going to be impacted by the collective decisions it's crazy to me.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it is crazy.
Yeah, I saw there were a lot of Black communities in this area talking about family homes gone. I was listening this morning where they were talking on Urban View Mornings about how these 90-year-olds were like, well, we're not going to leave. We old and we tired. We done been through this before. But then the fire was like, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm at your door. They left, came back today, everything gone.
Yeah.
And at 90 years old, they didn't pack anything because, again, they thought they were going to be okay.
Yeah, they've lived through everything.
Everything, including the whiteness. All right. So yeah, but we're going to have to, the financial implications, obviously, people are going to already start tallying. But the industries that are in this arena, in this region, the capacity for economic impact, I know is going to have reverberating effects because we still see that there's still cleanup happening in North Carolina. So we know this is going to be a real problem.
I think it's time for us collectively as a community to start to reimagine how we think about our game plans for things, right? And the word that keeps coming up to me, and I don't know if this is coming from my prayer life or if it's coming from just sort of my spiritual life or someone who is watching economics on a daily basis, is unprecedented. And so we have been living in unprecedented times and dealing with unprecedented things, and we've been treating them like they're normal. That we've sort of compartmentalized in a lot of ways to say, you know what, I'm just gonna keep on trucking. I'm gonna have the same thing I had for breakfast today that I had for breakfast yesterday, and just pretend like this is not as serious as it is because I want to protect my peace. And I think that we have to balance protecting our peace with protecting our future.
Oh, wait, let that sit. Because a lot of us really got into starting November 6th, we was like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm deucing out. I'm out. At least I was one of them. So December 31st, I was like, I've had it. I'm done. But then came January 1st and the realization, okay, we are here. But there's been a lot of focus on protecting the peace. But you said protecting our peace can't come at the expense of protecting our future.
It cannot.
Tease that out for us.
So what I mean by that is I think that in every aspect of it is that you have to have an air game and a ground game for how you survive and how you thrive. Like survival is one thing, but thriving is another thing. And I talk about this in the work around and helping people sort of reimagine their careers all the time. But I think that what that balance is that, yes, I'm going to protect my peace on a day-to-day basis, but that does not mean that I abdicate my future to powers that be, right? I'm going to still plan. I'm going to still strategize as it relates to me and community, right? And I think that there's an air game and a ground game for that. So maybe I do have the same thing for breakfast that I had yesterday, but I recognize the fact that tomorrow will not be like yesterday. And so how do I begin to prepare for what's actively in front of me and what is coming? And so when I talk to people about the current economy and the current job market, the first thing I say is like, listen, this is a tough economy. It is tough out there. And it is going to be really, really competitive from here at least until the next 18 months. Lurie, I mean, this is the way I think about it. It's like, so I give people the honest, unvarnished truth about the situation. And then my deal is like, if you know the truth and you know what the facts are, because facts still matter. Hello. They do. If you know what the facts are, then you can then use those facts to create a better strategy. If you're creating a strategy based on, compartmentalized hopes, prayers, and well, I've survived it one time, I can survive it again. This is surviving something new.
Right.
And so what I like to do is give people the real and then let you then go from there in terms of how you build off of it and build better strategies, better information, and gives you better outcomes. And so listen, there are 2.5 applicants for every job out there right now.
Wow.
That is up from 1.5 applicants for every job in 2022. So that lets you know how half of Black folks that we talk to, and we talk to a lot of Black folks, we are intentional about not telling Black folks stuff, but asking Black folks stuff in the work that I do, is that they said that they are really feeling overwhelmed. Nearly half of the Black professionals in the U.S. that we talk to said they're overwhelmed at the pace of work and how fast it's changing. And so what we said is like, okay, this is an incredibly intense market. Yeah. So let's tell people where the jobs are. Yeah. If they're like
that seems logical. Yes.
Like let's go where does the money reside? Right. And so
that's where I'm trying to make my address. Right. Where the money resides, I'm trying to be over there. Where the money resides, where the money resides.
Where the money resides, because one of the things that we are incredible at is that we're adaptive. Like Black folks are adaptive. Like we are great at a pivot. Yep. Black women in particular are the queens of not panicking but pivoting. And so I think that having that information, so we looked at what are the top jobs on the rise, and there's a real blend in that of a lot of AI, right? A lot of tech, but also a lot of IRL experience roles, right? Like if you look at the top 5 jobs, AI engineer, AI consultant, physical therapist, workforce development manager, which is a HR role, and then travel advisor. Right, so
what's a travel advisor?
Travel advisor is basically your old school travel agent.
You lying?
I kid you not. Listen, and here's the thing.
My producer's like, "Yup." She's shaking her head. Now this is the travel. Like she be all over the place.
And here's the deal: is that so many people have said, I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to see how other people are living because this is crazy over here. Right. Or I put off the trip for my 50th birthday because of COVID or because my money wasn't right. Now I'm going to go and have that trip. And here's the thing is I think that here's what also was on that list is event managers and event coordinators, right? And I think that that's an opportunity for Black folks specifically because the events that we want to have, you need some cultural competency, right? So you need some cultural competency. Yep. I had a wedding that I won't discuss what the budget was, but I will say that
because I don't want people to stop loving you.
Yeah. But I wanted to make sure that I was spending that money with Black vendors. I was spending that money with LGBTQ plus vendors. Yep. I also wanted to I didn't want to have to explain to my wedding coordinator why I was jumping the broom, right? So there are all of these things where I think that there are jobs out there for either people that you're a 9-to-5er or you're looking at an entrepreneur or a side hustle. Wow. Think about this. Black folks still contribute $1.8 trillion to the economy.
Is it up to 1.8 now?
1.8.
Jiminy, Christmas on a crab.
$1.8 trillion to the U.S. economy in 2024. So we are traveling. We are doing events. We're having our 50th birthday parties. We're having baby showers where we need help with. And think about the fact of that. We're doing all those things. There are opportunities for entrepreneurs to say, here's where my Blackness is a skill and an asset. Yes. Right?
Oh, let's have more of that. Our Blackness be the skills, the assets, and because you were the one who I believe said we need to double, triple, quadruple down on Blackness. This was several years ago on Karen's show. Yes, I love this.
You can double down on your Blackness and still find opportunity and profit and wealth, right? So I even think about travel. There's so many young people who are saying, I'm Black and I'm Black and I want to travel somewhere, but I still want to have a cultural experience that is germane to me. Right. I took my partner, husband, I gotta keep saying that, to London for the holidays.
I see you wedding ring.
We wanted to still have a culturally relevant to us experience traveling in London, right? And so people are like, okay, tell me about that. Right. We saw Vanessa Williams in The Devil Wears Prada it was amazing, right? We went to the Victoria and Albert Museum and saw the Naomi Campbell Naomi in Fashion exhibit, where the whole exhibit was about being Black in fashion and the impact that Black people had on fashion, right? A travel agent that has that understanding can also do that. They can also tell Black Black queer people who have a ton of money to spend. They have a lot of disposable income. They say here are countries where you can go that are LGBTQ plus friendly, because we want to go and travel the world too. But we also know that there's certain places that we don't need to go.
Right. I've been having this conversation, a text thread with a friend of mine. He's part of the LGBTQ community. Super dope, just amazing human being. And I was like, oh, well, when the world blows up over here, we could go there. He was like, girl,
now you know I can't go there.
I can't go there. I was like, damn it. All right, scratch it off the list. Scratch it off the list, because he coming with my family.
Is illegal
yes,
there.
like the air I breathe would be rendered arrestable.
Right.
Yeah.
So the jobs, what we did is we took the jobs on the rise, and here's what we said: we can't just tell people what the jobs are and where the jobs are, but we got to tell people what they need to do to get those jobs. So if you look at our jobs on the rise, I'll tweet it out, is that they've got the jobs there, but then it also says, here are the skills that you need, and here are learning courses that we have made available for free for the entire quarter, that if you want to take these courses. Because that's the disconnect, I think, Lurie, for a lot of people who are looking for these jobs. A lot of people are looking for jobs, and they're using the language of yesterday to talk about the skills they have today.
Do you have an example of that? Because I feel like that's so important.
Absolutely. So a lot of the times where, people have African Americans and Latinos over-index on frontline work. It's just a fact of the matter. We contributed by about 70% of the frontline work. I think that one of the things that it's why the pandemic was such a huge impact on us economically and health care wise. I think you have a person who is doing food service, a person who's working in a restaurant has about 71% of the skills that you need to actually be a call center operator, customer service operator, where you could go from working on your feet for 12 hours for tips to go into a salary role, and depending upon the company, salary, healthcare benefits, fully paid, right? And so you have the majority of the skills that you need for that. Go on. Here's what I think that people need to do is, like, instead of like spraying and praying, like applying for everything, do it smarter. Actually block an hour, take a skills assessment on a platform like LinkedIn. It'll tell you the skills that you have it'll tell you how to talk about them differently based on what HR people are looking for and based on what our algorithm will push you forward for. A skills assessment, an hour can change your experience looking for a job.
So you mean I don't have to just spend my whole weekend sending out resume, cover letter, resume. I could like be intentional and targeted and like focused with a game plan. And here's the deal. When you take the LinkedIn learning courses that are there, if you say, I'm going to invest in that, I'm going to take this learning course, it gives you a better way of talking about your skills, because you're talking about the skills in a way that is updated and modernized, right? Like you're talking about these courses teach you how to talk about your leadership skills, how to write about them, right? And so I think that that's the other piece of it, is that refreshing the model of how we talk about this to modernize it. The language for almost every career is becoming more modernized, either for legal reasons or for marketing reasons, or because people want certain aspects of jobs to go away and certain fields to go away. So people are changing the language of it. And I think that that's part of it, is knowing the language and the lexicon helps you out. And we're trying to make that easier, particularly for people that say, I need to get a job. Right.
And this will also help you in those training courses will also help you in the interview process.
Now, I know that to be true.